The film opens on the planet Turo, where a scientist named Jumba has created a genetic experiment called 626. This creature is incredibly dangerous, leading Queen Hana to have both Jumba and 626 imprisoned. Jumba protests, boasting about his creation's resilience, intelligence, and ability to quickly learn and adapt, claiming it's indestructible. The council expresses their fear, stating 626 must be eliminated. Hana, however, suggests waiting to see what the intelligent creature might say for itself. 626 then declares its intention to destroy them all. Hana orders its termination and sentences Jumba to life in prison. As Jumba is taken away, a scientist reveals a special gun created using 626's own DNA to destroy it. 626 notices the gun tracks its saliva and spits at the scientist, causing the gun to fire on him and creating an explosion. 626 escapes and flees Turo on a stolen spacecraft. Hana attacks, but 626 has already engaged its hyperdrive. Tracking the ship's trajectory towards planet Earth, Hana summons Jumba, promising to consider his parole if he can recapture 626, allowing them to finally eliminate it. Meanwhile, on Earth, in Hawaii, we meet Lilo, who first feeds sandwiches to the fish before going to a nearby hotel to enjoy a hot tub. Later, Lilo releases several animals on the road and arrives late for her school event. She proudly shows her homemade friendship bracelet to the other girls, but they shun her as she has no friends. To make matters worse, Lilo's older sister, Nani, hasn't arrived for the event, making her sad. Elsewhere in Hawaii, Nanny, who works at a restaurant, tries to leave for the event, but her car won't start. Back at school, Lilo dances, deeply upset by Nani's absence. When a classmate pushes her, Lilo retaliates, pushing the girl down, which earns her a scolding from the teacher. 2 hours later, Nani finally arrives, but the event is over. When Nani gets home, Lilo has locked the door. Nani apologizes, but Lilo refuses to open up. Keiko, a child support social worker concerned about Lilo's well-being, arrives. Nani lets Keiko in through the back. Inside, Keiko observes the overdue bills and the poor state of the house. Following Nani's lead, Lilo tries to paint a picture of a happy home with regular meals and studying. However, Keiko sees through the facade. She reminds Nani of their parents' death a year prior and acknowledges Nani's efforts to care for Lilo, but emphasizes Lilo's need for proper care, suggesting placement with another family. A disheartened Nani is given a month to clean the house, pay the bills, and secure medical insurance to keep Lilo. After Keiko leaves, Nani confronts Lilo, upset that she locked her out. Lilo retorts that Nani missed her performance. Nani explains the serious consequences of failing to meet the child support requirements, revealing the risk of them being separated. The sisters argue. Their neighbor, Tutu, who cares for them, comes by. Tutu had even secured a scholarship for Nani, hoping she would continue her education. But Nani chose to stay and care for Lilo. Tutu's grandson, David, flirts with Nani, mentioning her reputation as the best surfer in the area. Nani, flustered, goes back inside. Later that night, the sisters have a quiet dinner. Nani apologizes to Lilo, who in turn apologizes for pushing her friend. Nani reassures Lilo that she's not a bad kid and reminds her of ohana, their Hawaiian word for family, emphasizing their parents' wish for them to always stay together. Suddenly, Lilo sees a shooting star and wishes for a true friend. Unbeknownst to her, it's not a star but 626's spacecraft, crash landing on Earth with destructive intentions. 626 spots a frog, but is suddenly shocked by jolts of electricity from its neck belt, remotely activated by Jumba. However, Jumba is unaware of this. Pleakley, another alien working with Jumba, stops him, explaining they can use the belt to track 626. But 626 unleashes a powerful electrical surge, destroying the tracking device. 626 continues its rampage and stumbles upon a wedding cake. It crashes the wedding, causing chaos while trying to eat the cake. Emerging from the wedding, 626 is accidentally run over and knocked unconscious by a bus. The next day, Jumba and Pleakley arrive on Earth, equipped with high-tech devices. They touch two humans, completely cloning their bodies using their devices, thus disguising themselves as humans. As they try to blend in, they see a news report about a strange creature causing havoc at a wedding, now taken to a nearby animal shelter. They realize it must be 626. Meanwhile, outside the animal shelter, Tutu and Lilo are out shopping. Lilo says goodbye to Tutu and goes inside to see the animals. 626 regains consciousness inside its cage, surrounded by barking dogs. It breaks free and starts eating. Jumba and Pleakley attack, but 626 retreats back into the shelter to escape. Lilo enters and observes the frightened dogs. 626 sees Lilo and an adoption poster. It overhears Jumba and Pleakley discussing the need to remain hidden among the humans. 626 decides to get itself adopted by Lilo. It retracts some of its features, transforming into a dog-like creature, and presents itself to Lilo. She finds it incredibly cute. 626 hugs Lilo tightly, mimicking the poster, hoping to evade Jumba and Pleakley. Tutu and the shelter worker arrive. Lilo declares her intention to adopt the dog. 626 playfully interacts with Lilo. Tutu decides to take them home. As they leave, Jumba tries to use a tranquilizer, but Pleakley stops him, causing Jumba to accidentally inject himself. Back home, Nani is initially wary of 626. Tutu points out Lilo's happiness, suggesting it's a good thing. Nani agrees, but tells Lilo that they might have to return the creature soon. Lilo accepts this. Elsewhere, Officer Cobra Bubbles, a CIA agent, investigates the alien spacecraft. He realizes an alien has landed on Earth and sees a picture of Lilo adopting 626. Cobra Bubbles suspects the adopted creature might be the alien. The next day, Lilo takes 626 to the beach. The creature, enjoying itself, causes minor destruction, which amuses Lilo. They end up in the hotel hot tub again, where they are caught by the hotel staff. Nani bails them out. In the car, 626 continues its antics. Lilo decides to name it Stitch. Suddenly, Cobra Bubbles' car pulls up in front of them. Nani stops. Stitch and Cobra Bubbles exchange a look. Cobra Bubbles lets them go, but secretly attaches a tracker to their car. Later, Nani leaves Lilo and Stitch at her workplace, a hotel, instructing them to study. David comes over and tells Lilo that Nani has been looking stressed lately. Lilo dismisses it, saying she's always like that. Stitch wanders off and starts playing with things. Lilo joins in. They spend the rest of the day at the hotel. That night, Stitch observes some Hawaiian boys playing with fire. He tries to imitate them, accidentally setting some tables on fire. Because of Lilo and Stitch, Nani gets fired. They return home, where Nani is visibly upset. Cobra Bubbles listens from outside. Nani calls David, explaining to him about Keiko's requirements and her lack of funds after losing her job, fearing she might lose custody of Lilo. She notices Stitch causing more damage inside. Nani considers giving him away, but Stitch throws a refrigerator at her mouth. Lilo tearfully reminds Nani of their parents' wish for them to take care of their family and insists Stitch is now part of their ohana, so they can't abandon him. Nani sadly replies that their parents left them and that if they don't get their act together, they might both be separated. Lilo comforts Stitch and shows him pictures of their happy childhood, mentioning Nani's dream of becoming a marine biologist and her surfing talent. She reiterates that Stitch is now part of their family. Stitch seems happy, and Lilo teaches him some hula dancing. The next day, the three of them search for jobs. They encounter Cobra Bubbles and Keiko, with Cobra Bubbles posing as a social services director. Nani is surprised by their early visit, as she had thought she had more time. Keiko explains that Cobra Bubbles has decided to handle their case. While playing with Lilo and Stitch, Cobra Bubbles secretly obtains a strand of Stitch's hair to analyze. Lilo becomes suspicious of Cobra Bubbles. Nani, determined to create a good life for Lilo, takes them away. As they drive, Jumba and Pleakley follow them. Nani tells Lilo and Stitch at the hotel that they must behave so she can get a job. She goes to speak with the manager. Lilo and Stitch try to help, with Lilo attempting to teach Stitch to be good, but Stitch's destructive nature and mischievous behavior persist, causing more chaos and preventing Nani from getting hired anywhere. The three of them are disheartened. Nani saw a poster advertising a job for a surfing instructor at the beach. This idea appealed to her because she enjoyed surfing. Soon, Nani was teaching surfing to people at the beach, which she found fun. She also expertly demonstrated surfing techniques. One day, Stitch watched a dog surfing and, because of this, wanted to surf with Lilo and Nani. They both took Stitch surfing and had a great time. Suddenly, Pleakley and Jumba arrived, trying to capture Stitch with tranquilizer darts. Stitch dodged them and caused them to fall. In the commotion, Nani, Stitch, and Lilo fell into the water. Lilo resurfaced, but Stitch, trying to stay afloat, pushed Lilo down. Luckily, Nani and David pulled both Stitch and Lilo out of the water. Lilo was shaken but unharmed. However, Stitch felt guilty and sad because he had put Lilo in danger. They went to the hospital, where the doctor confirmed Lilo was all right, much to the relief of Nani and Tutu. There, Keiko told Nani that the government would pay her bills, but only if she placed Lilo with another family, explaining it was the best option since Nani was struggling to care for her properly. Nani sadly agreed, believing it was the right thing for Lilo. Meanwhile, Pleakley and Jumba had failed to capture Stitch. Queen Hana contacted them, expressing her anger at their continued failure and the fact that humans were now aware of their presence. Jumba insisted that Stitch's intelligence made it difficult, but promised to catch him. Hana, frustrated, terminated their contract and ordered Jumba to return to face imprisonment. Jumba was furious. Pleakley tried to apprehend Jumba, but Jumba used a teleportation gun to send Pleakley away and went alone to capture Stitch. Back home, Lilo and Nani arrived, and Nani gently explained that Lilo might have to live with another family. Lilo became upset and asked if Nani was leaving to study on her scholarship. Nani denied it, looking sad, and went outside. Stitch, sensing he was the cause of their family being separated, felt terrible. Lilo went to comfort Nani, and they reminisced about happier times. Stitch watched them and decided not to cause them any more trouble. He quietly returned to the animal shelter. The next morning, Nani met with Keiko and Cobra Bubbles, the social services director. Nani told them Lilo was inside, ready to go, but Lilo had already run away. Elsewhere, Lilo went to the animal shelter, searching for Stitch. She apologized to him for wanting to leave him. Stitch then spoke, apologizing for pushing Lilo underwater. Lilo said it was an accident. Stitch admitted he felt bad and didn't want to hurt her. Lilo hugged him, saying he was just being mischievous sometimes. But that didn't make him bad. He was their family. Suddenly, Jumba appeared through a portal. Lilo refused to let Jumba take Stitch. Stitch grabbed Jumba's portal gun, opened 2 portals, and trapped Jumba, who fell downwards. The 2 of them ran away towards home. However, Jumba transformed into his true alien form within the portal, saving himself. Meanwhile, everyone in the forest was searching for Lilo. Jumba reached Lilo's house, where she and Stitch were hiding. They tried to escape, but Jumba, seeing Lilo's family photos, began destroying the house to hurt her. Lilo, heartbroken, came out and pleaded with Jumba to stop. Jumba approached her menacingly, but Stitch jumped out of a portal and attacked Jumba. Jumba threw Stitch aside. Lilo then attacked Jumba, and Stitch dropped the refrigerator on him, injuring him. Jumba apologized and explained that Stitch had only come to their house to escape them. Lilo asked Stitch if this was true, and Stitch nodded. For Lilo's sake, Jumba asked Stitch to come with him. Stitch agreed. Jumba put a restraining belt on Stitch, and they went through a portal to Jumba's ship. Lilo watched as her destroyed house collapsed. Tutu and Cobra Bubbles, who were looking for Lilo, saw this happen. Soon, everyone gathered, searching for Lilo. Pleakley appeared, and everyone was frightened. Pleakley transformed into his human disguise. Cobra Bubbles apprehended him. Pleakley offered to help them save Lilo. Meanwhile, Jumba had imprisoned Stitch on his spaceship. Stitch saw Lilo arrive on the ship through a portal, devastated by the destruction of her home. Jumba started to fly the ship away. Stitch began causing chaos on board. Jumba went to stop him, but Lilo took control of the ship and started pressing buttons. One button released Stitch. He and Jumba started fighting. Stitch trapped Jumba in a part of the spaceship. Stitch then freed himself. The entire spaceship crashed into the ocean. By this time, Pleakley had led everyone to their location. Stitch reached the shore and saw Lilo trapped underwater. He went down and freed her. Lilo started to swim to the surface, but Stitch was too heavy for her to pull up. Stitch pushed Lilo upwards, and Nani pulled her to safety. Lilo pleaded with Nani to save Stitch, saying he was their family, and they couldn't leave him. She and David ran to help. Stitch was sinking and losing consciousness. Nani dove down and lifted him, but he was too heavy to carry easily. She struggled, walking towards the shore. Finally reaching the beach, she pulled Stitch out of the water. He wasn't breathing. Together, everyone used a car battery to give Stitch a large electric shock. Stitch gasped and woke up. Everyone was overjoyed. Suddenly, Queen Hana arrived in a spaceship with many soldiers. The soldiers checked all the humans, who were unharmed. Hana apologized for Stitch's destruction. They captured Stitch, and Hana explained that the creature could be a danger to their planet. They also took Jumba back into custody on their spaceship. Stitch said, "My name is Stitch." He looked at Lilo, and they were both sad. Hana observed that Stitch had changed. Stitch apologized and told Hana that he had found his own identity there, and that he had a family on Earth. For their well-being, he was willing to go with her. Pleakley argued that Stitch had changed and should be allowed to stay with his family, offering to stay and watch over him. Hana worried about the secret of aliens being revealed to the world. Cobra Bubbles assured her that as a CIA agent, he would keep it a secret. Hana agreed to let Stitch stay and released him. He reunited with his family. Hana said goodbye and left. Everyone was extremely happy. Nani's house was being rebuilt. Keiko told Nani that she was happy to let Lilo stay there with Stitch, Tutu, and David. Tutu and David were also happy about this. Nani could visit them often. Lilo encouraged Nani to pursue her dream of studying marine biology. Nani said she didn't want to leave Lilo. Lilo reassured her that their parents would have wanted her to finish her education and that she would be happy there with Tutu. Everyone persuaded Nani, and she finally agreed for her sister's sake. Everyone was thrilled. A few days later, Lilo's house was being rebuilt with everyone's help, making Stitch very happy. Nani left to study abroad. A year later, Lilo and Nani were talking on a video call. Nani had finished her studies and returned home on a teleportation train to see Stitch and Lilo. Downstairs, Cobra Bubbles and Tutu were now living with Pleakley. Oscar, hearing a noise from upstairs, went to Lilo's room. He saw Lilo, Nani, and Stitch sleeping peacefully together, happy to be a family. And so, this wonderful film comes to an end.